Hey, this is Black Shadow 305.
And this is Extreme Enigma 305. And today on the final free count, we are going to be reviewing 2010 as a year for wrestling.
That's my line. Right,
No.
let's start then.
Okay, so the first pay-per-view of the year was, of course, the Royal Rumble 2010. And this wasn't really the best start to the year. And I think I can say that on behalf of every single wrestling fan. The fact of the matter is, it was a promising card, and they just didn't deliver with anything, pretty much. Obviously, the big build-up was towards the Royal Rumble. Obviously, the last 30-man Royal Rumble, as we know, this year's was 40-man. And none of it really stood out, to be honest. It was just all bland. I mean, there was only two matches that really stood out to me. That being the WWE Championship match and the World Heavyweight Championship match. Sheamus and Randy Orton, Undertaker and Rey Mysterio. And I'm going to start with the Sheamus and Randy Orton match, just to keep time going. It just wasn't right. It was nothing compared to the matches during 2010 later on in the year. But obviously they were just trying to build on the Sheamus' WWE Championship reign. The ending was ridiculous. They shouldn't have had Legacy come out like that. It was just trying to make it build up to WrestleMania when they had the triple threat match. Moving on to the World Heavyweight match. This was the one that surprised me quite a bit actually, because I didn't expect this one to deliver. It was just too much of a clash of styles. I don't like Rey Mysterio, he doesn't like Rey Mysterio, so that's pretty much everything said. I'm glad the Undertaker came out with the win. Enough said. The 30-man Royal Rumble match itself. Now, this was just way too predictable for me. If you check back on my videos a year ago, you would see that I actually did say that Edge was going to win the Rumble in my review of 2009's Rumble. And, well, I was right. So, haha, I'm a god. So, big build-up, bland pay-per-view, shit start to the year.
I don't know about the whole Edge predictable thing because I wasn't a fan then, but yeah, I'll take his word for it. Next. The Elimination Chamber. Yeah.
The infamous Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. I would say this was the worst pay-per-view of 2010. It was a bit good, but I don't know really. Yeah, it started off with the Raw Elimination Chamber match. Sheamus versus John Cena, Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton, Triple H and DiBiase. Why was Kofi in there? That's what I don't know.
Time filler.
Yeah. DiBiase. Why not Cody Rhodes? Cody Rhodes is better. Cody Rhodes won more titles.
And it's more of a character these days.
Yeah.
Dash.
Then there was the Intercontinental Championship match between McIntyre and Kane. Kane!
That's going to be a running joke, by the way.
Bald people have souls. Yeah. The ending of this match was a bit weird because Drew was put over Kane, which makes no sense because as we get on later on in the year, Kane goes on a huge kill streak pretty much.
As a true Kane fan, I was disappointed to see him lose to Drew McIntyre, of all people. I know they're trying to build up on his title reign, but why Kane? Seriously.
Right. Then there was a Divas match, but I apologise, I don't remember watching that, as he says. But Divas are awesome nonetheless. Then there was the United States Championship, The Miz versus MVP. That was a follow-up from the Rumble, and it was an okay mid-card match. Then there was the last match, the Elimination Chamber for the World Heavyweight title. This featured The Undertaker defending his title against John Morrison, Jericho, he's awesome, Rey Mysterio, boo, R-Truth and CM Punk. The start was funny when CM Punk came out and done cut a promo. And he just says, I just want to say, and then R-Truth's music hit. That was quite funny. Whether that was intended or not, I don't know. But yeah. The match itself was pretty crap, but towards the end, Undertaker was going to retain, that was going to be shit. But then Shawn Michaels saved the day once again, because he can.
And, obviously, moving on to the pay-per-view of the year, WrestleMania 26. In my opinion, and I think of his as well, this is probably one of the greatest WrestleManias I've seen in a very long time.
My favourite one. My only WrestleMania I saw, actually, when it happened. I want that beard. Alright, can we get close up? There we go.
WrestleMania 26 had one of the best cards and most star-studded lineups in history, pretty much. You had guys like Bret Hart returning to end feuds that have been infamous within the WWE, that being against Vince McMahon. You had some dream matches such as Batista, John Cena, despite the fact we've seen it before, and Chris Jericho and Edge. good title matches, I must say. John Cena coming out with a victory, however, didn't really surprise me. Obviously, the big main event that everyone was talking about was Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, the follow-up from WrestleMania 25.
Awesome.
And it's a shame to see that was Shawn Michaels' last match, but I think I would rather not see him go out any other way. It was a fantastic matchup, kept me guessing throughout. I mean, I actually did think halfway through that Undertaker
should have
might have
ended
lost
it.
the streak. He should have ended it, yes, but hopefully maybe might be Undertaker versus DX handicap match one day. Who knows? Some other memorable matches from that would be the Money in the Bank match, which saw Jack Swagger win the Money in the Bank. Swagger. So I think that surprised quite a lot of people because, well, he wasn't really championship material. Well, no one really saw it. Him winning the Money in the Bank got him the title a week after, so he kind of made history being the fastest one to catch it in. And one last match I'm going to talk about, just to save time, is going to be the Triple H versus Sheamus matchup. And that was surprisingly good in my opinion. I didn't expect that to be a good wrestling match. I just thought it was going to be a jobber thing, 10 minutes long, Triple H comes out with the victory.
It was. It was slow paced. That's what I thought. But we all have our own opinions. There was Rey Mysterio versus CM Punk, which featured Rey Mysterio coming out as an avatar, and I guessed that right actually. There was also a 10 Diva tag match, which featured the famous Flab Splash, or Hog Splash as he calls it. The pay-per-view after this is Extreme Rules. Now that is a good cover.
Need we say more?
Yeah. This featured the legendary JTG versus Shad match, which of course everyone talks about. I knew JTG would win, he didn't. Yeah. It's a shame to see that was like Shad's last pay-per-view match. The fact that he was like, it's my time! And then he went like 2 weeks left.
Released.
Well,
Good luck in your future endeavours.
Yeah. MVP, we all miss you. Then there was the random Extreme Makeover match that featured like no makeup, which is pretty crap. The Gauntlet tag match was good. Big Show, Miz, and R-Truth, Morrison, MVP and Henry, and Hart Dynasty. The street fight between Triple H and Sheamus was good because it made Sheamus be able to be taken seriously by putting him over Triple H, which basically made him. The steel cage between Edge and Jericho was Edge's good like revenge thing. The stipulation on the Rey Mysterio CM Punk match is if CM Punk loses, he gets his head shaved, which, well, he doesn't.
It was pretty pointless to be honest, because they had the exact same match 2 months later over the limit. So why couldn't you just have had that then? What was the point just holding the fans on?
Yeah, right. The Extreme Rules match, Randy Orton versus Jack Swagger.
Surprisingly good match, I might add.
Yeah, it was a bit weird that Swagger got the win, but yeah, he was champ, so he had to hold his title somehow.
It was a good way to develop Swagger's character because we didn't expect him to go against someone as a main event character as Randy Orton would. I mean, I don't think I expected him to come out with a win, but I think it was a good move by WWE to have that against each other.
And a controversial last man standing match between John Cena and Batista. I don't know what to say about this match because it was good, but the ending was unique, but also made Cena out, like, it makes him appear that he sucks, basically.
And he does.
But remember, there are Cena fans on here. Somewhere.
I pity you.
Cena's alright, it's just a bit annoying. Over the limit. Need I say he hates his pay-per-view? I love it. Epic, fast-pacedness, awesome front cover.
One match.
Will we get banned for showing these?
No.
Oh, that's good then.
One match that actually stood out. Randy Orton and Edge, the only good match on the pay-per-view.
That lasted like 5 minutes. But it
lasted like 10 minutes and it ended in a double count out.
It also showed CM Punk going bald, which kind of, I wouldn't say made his character, but made him like the top heel he is today, kind of, because we all recognise him as a guy with the awesome hair. R-Truth versus DiBiase with Virgil, which is good because you see Virgil, whoever he is. I'm joking, I know he is. Kofi versus Drew. Yeah, Kofi beat Drew. Pretty beast opener actually. It was fast pacedness. Big Show versus Jack Swagger.
Same case as him versus Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Match.
Big Show's one of them people that are underrated for being overrated. If you know what I mean.
Enough said.
Yeah.
The main event you never thought you'd see again.
Yep, John Cena vs Batista for the third time. I quit match. I thought it was a good match because it kept us guessing who was going to win, sort of. And it was a good way to close the rivalry and end Batista's career. He will be back one day.
One day. If once he gets kicked out of Strike Force, of course.
Strike Force. What is Strike Force?
Fatal 4-Way. Innovative pay-per-view, I'd like to say, because, well, I'm not really high up on pay-per-views designed for a certain match type. I mean, you've had a lot this year. You've had Fatal 4-Way, Money in the Bank, Hell in a Cell, Elimination Chamber. It just sort of dried out on me. But I must admit, this
Buy yours today.
I must admit, this pay-per-view wasn't too bad. I mean, it had some decent main events. You had the WWE Championship Fatal 4-Way, John Cena, Edge, Randy Orton, Sheamus, and the World Heavyweight, Jack Swagger, Big Show, Punk, and Mysterio. Nothing really stood out to me, to be honest. I mean, the end of it was pretty predictable. I mean, the cover pretty much says everything, if you guys can see it. The 4 winners plus Nexus.
3 wins.
Wait, whatever. I'm glad to see that they gave Sheamus the title again, because he deserved another run. He wasn't really given the best time that he had in the 2009 one when he won at TLC. So I'm glad to see that he came out with a victory. Maybe quite controversial seeing as Nexus came out, but at the time it was good to develop their rivalry with John Cena. The World Heavyweight Championship came out with Rey Mysterio as the winner. I wasn't too high up on that because not only is it Rey Mysterio, but it's just sort of unexpected in my opinion. They should have kept Jack Swagger going as champion because, well, he deserved it. Need I say more? Nothing else really stood out to me in this pay-per-view, if I'm honest with you. You had some random matchups like Chris Jericho versus Evan Bourne. That was just a jobber match for Evan Bourne to win. I didn't understand that. Why would they? We don't know.
Yeah.
And then you had guys like Miz versus R-Truth. Just a jobber match, as I said, for the United States Championship.
Good luck in your future endeavours.
In other words, yes. And another Intercontinental Championship match between Kofi Kingston and Drew McIntyre. And I'm glad that ended the rivalry because I was getting sick of seeing those guys against each other.
Almost as bad as Kofi versus Dolph.
Exactly. The infamous rivalry of 2010. So that's all I'm going to say about Fatal 4-Way. It wasn't too bad of a pay-per-view, but it could have been a shit lot better.
Yeah. He's better reviewing stuff than me, I'm new. Yeah, Money in the Bank 2010.
This saved 2010. It started going downhill from Extreme Rules onwards, in my opinion. But seeing that Money in the Bank sort of brought it up with guys like Kane and The Miz going on to face...
It's Kane!
Yes. Going against future champions, including Kane winning that evening. It really did make another sort of plot twist within 2010. We had some great matches on that. The 2 Money in the Bank matches delivered. I mean, SmackDown was more about sort of the entertainment factor, but Raw was sort of...
Raw was the best. I think, yeah.
I think it's more the wrestling side in the Raw Money in the Bank. As I said, 2 great winners to come out with, both The Miz and Kane. And
Kane beat Jack Swagger's record for cashing it in as well.
Kane did make history with that one.
And The Miz also made history that's happening now, actually.
With a great speech as well, might I say.
And The Miz is awesome. He has soul! Gingers has soul. You don't know me, I come to church.
I think you can guess what video we've just seen. The main event being John Cena versus Sheamus in a steel cage match.
That was a good match.
Yet again, the Nexus interfering. As I said, it was just to build the Nexus character into their rivalry with John Cena. And I think that's pretty much all we can say about this pay-per-view. Nothing else really happened.
The steel cage lasted 22 minutes and 31 seconds.
That's some good facts right there.
Yeah.
And moving on to the one that most people talked about throughout this year, besides WrestleMania. SummerSlam 2010. Now, I will admit, I didn't like this at first. I thought it was an absolute bucket of shite. But the fact of the matter is, it was too predictable. The card was promising, need I say the least. And in the end, it just didn't seem to deliver. It just kind of died out halfway through. However, after I rewatched it a few times, there were some matches that stood out to me, including the Sheamus versus Randy Orton match, the Kane versus Rey Mysterio match, where The Undertaker returned, all big surprise, and the Team WWE versus Nexus match. And the only reason that kept me watching that match was the fact that Daniel Bryan returned. And I was watching a stream at the time, and a lot of people were saying it was either going to be Daniel Bryan or Triple H. I think I would have rather seen Triple H return that matchup because, well, Nowadays, we can just see that Daniel Bryan has turned into a jobber as